Hello, thanks ever so much for joining us for our Zoom. We really appreciate that you completed the survey. We had loads of people completing, we had over 400 children and young people completing, and we really appreciate that because you've given us a lot of information and a lot to think about, and we can learn about quite a few different people's experience of lockdown or being in school during lockdown, and also thinking about returning to school. So that's fantastic. And what we'd like to do is let you know what the responses were in the survey and the different things that people said. So in the next 15-20 minutes we're going to be doing that. We're going to be going through the different questions and sharing with you what the responses were. My name is Sarah, and I'm one of the educational psychologists working for Barnet.
My name's Matt, and I'm also an educational psychologist that works for Barnet.
My name's Nina, and I'm a third educational psychologist who works in Barnet.
My name is Parminder, and I'm the fourth educational psychologist working in Barnet.
Okay, so we're going to start with one of mine. So we asked you how you felt during lockdown. And with the responses that we got, how you answered, about 7% said they were happy. So that's about 28 of you said that they were actually very happy during lockdown. Then about 26% said that they were just happy. So again, that's about roughly around 100 young people said that. And a lot said that they were okay. So about 48%. So that is, yeah, roughly around about 200 young people said that they felt that they were okay during lockdown. 12% said that they were unhappy. So that's about 48 of you felt as though you maybe didn't have as good a time during lockdown. And the last group, so about 6%, that's about 24 people said that they were very unhappy during lockdown.
Okay, so these are some of the things that you told us about your feelings during lockdown. So one of the things that came up was that some of you said you felt quite happy. So one of the young people said, I have felt happy spending time with my mum and dad. You also spoke about feeling safe. So feeling, I enjoyed being safe at home. Some of you mentioned that you missed your friends. So a lot of young people said that I miss my friends and my teacher. And a few of you mentioned that you felt a little bit mixed, so slightly a bit confused during this time, sometimes feeling okay, sometimes not. And one person mentioned that it has felt like a roller coaster because you really want to be at school, but you can't. So some more feelings that came up were feelings of being a bit lonely or sometimes finding it a bit boring. It's been boring at home, I miss school. Some young people mentioned that they felt a little bit confused, disappointed and annoyed. I have felt okay, but sometimes it has been annoying because I haven't seen my friends. And some young people mentioned that you felt a little bit sad. Sad because I don't get to see all my friends and teachers at school. I miss them all. It's important to remember that these feelings can change day by day. Some days you may have felt happy, some days you may have felt sad. But these were the general feelings that you told us how you felt during lockdown.
And then the next thing we asked in the survey was about people that had been in school during lockdown. So some people went to school during lockdown, perhaps because their parents were key workers or for other reasons. Some people were in school. What we did was we noticed that it was quite different according to your age. So we've split the responses into ages so that you can see the differences. So the children who were in reception and year 1 and year 2 had a pretty, actually a lot of them really enjoyed being in school in lockdown. So 86%, which is quite a lot of people aged in reception year 1 and 2, really enjoyed school in lockdown. Some people said they were really happy, some said it was really good, and actually quite a few people said it was amazing, a lot better than out of lockdown actually. So they were saying how it was really good to go back to school. Some people who usually wore a uniform really liked not having to wear one. People really enjoyed being in smaller classes. Different schools did it differently. So for some people they had desk time and they liked having one desk each. And some people really enjoyed the smaller groups. Some people said it was really fun. They just did nice, lovely things. Others, about 4%, said it was okay. Wasn't brilliant, but it was fine. And about 6% found it quite strange at first, and then they sort of got used to it. So they didn't like it because it felt quite different from normal, but as they had time to get used to it, they felt it got a bit better. So these people, for example, they described how in the beginning it felt quite scary because they were worried, especially about COVID-19. But then when they had gone into school and talked with their teacher, then their worries got less. They thought, no, it was okay and it was manageable. And another thing that got better for people was when other children were allowed to come back to school, and people that they knew started coming back, and so they really liked that. But 4% of people, they didn't like it because they wanted to do more learning, and lunch was the same every day, so that wasn't so great, and also they couldn't see their friends and their teachers. And then people from year 3 through to year 5, about 64%, which is just a bit more than half of people, were happy about going to school in lockdown. And I suppose the biggest thing was just getting out of the house and seeing people, seeing teachers, having a chance to play and not be by themselves or only with their family. So especially the friends they were really happy about, and also people talked about they were feeling safe. So some people were talking about how the school organised things and they felt safe. People did say it was a bit strange. Some people noticed that actually, to their surprise, they really were glad to be back because they really felt that they needed school. And they didn't expect to feel that, so some people were surprised about that. About 16%, they thought it was quite a strange situation. Especially, well, it just wasn't normal, and all those safety measures that school were taking, they felt that was quite weird. And also, some of you had the situation that you were expecting certain people to be there, and then the people that you were expecting to be there weren't there, or you weren't put in the group with them. So that was a bit weird. About 16% thought, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't really good. It wasn't too bad, people said. And then 4% reported actually they were quite sad about being in school during lockdown, and that was really the issue about none of their friends being in school, and that feeling quite a disappointment really, and quite hard to deal with. And then we've separated year 6 because for year 6 some people were in school the whole time during lockdown, and then quite a few people from year 6 went back to school. And of the year 6 who reported to us, just under half, about 42%, said they were really glad to be back in school. They felt, well, for example, somebody said, I felt really lucky and grateful to all those who helped me settle back. And people talked about the interaction, how nice it was to have interaction again and the opportunity to see their friends. And quite a few people actually quite liked the structure of school. It helped them settle back, and they liked that. They felt it was good, and it just helped keep things really good. But about 10% of people, which is like 1 in 10 of you, really felt they were only in school for a very short time, and that wasn't really okay. So one person said they were only in for 2 days, and it was fun. They liked seeing everyone, but they missed things. One person said they only went back once, and that didn't feel okay. About 1 in 5 of you talked about how it was odd and different and a bit weird going back, getting used to it all over again. And one of the and I think a lot of people in year 6 had very mixed feelings about being back, because for year 6 it was the end of primary school, and they didn't really have the time to enjoy the end of primary school, and so there was quite a lot of mixed feelings. All the things that they were looking forward to, the video, the photos, they missed out on. And also the concerns about COVID, and would it be okay, and were they safe? So I think that year 6 had mixed feelings about being back in school, especially for the endings of their primary. And then people told us some extra things. So we asked, is there anything else or anything more you'd have liked us to know about? And so some people, yes, they did want to tell us more about their feelings during lockdown, or the situation during the lockdown. And basically, the things that people wanted to say, I think, fell into 3 different themes. The first theme was about things that they'd missed. And people told us about quite a few different things that they'd missed. How they'd missed playing outside, how they'd really missed their friends and missed out on all the fun, really, all the fun bits. And also people talked about how they'd missed normal lessons and interaction with their school teacher. In fact, that was the second theme, and quite a few people talked about the problems with actually being able to communicate with school. Not enough contact and not enough interaction, and finding schoolwork online pretty hard, because there was no chat, there was no, some people were saying really there wasn't enough encouragement, and that was hard, and that was hard to keep going as well. Some people said that their school did a great job, for example, using Google Classroom to help them feel that they were interacting a bit, and that the teacher was actually teaching them. But some people felt it's just a lot of online work, nothing else, and not contact with the teachers, and it was just lonely, not encouraging, and a bit too intense. And then the other thing that people talked about were the good things about lockdown, and a lot of things about the good things about lockdown were extra time with family. Some people thought the home learning actually was a highlight of lockdown, and also being with their family. That was really good. And some people who went into school said they really did feel that their teacher was kind and looked after them, and helped them not to feel scared and really understand how to keep safe. And they really appreciated that, because there were obviously quite a few worries about lockdown and going back to school, and that is something that is on people's mind. Okay, so thank you for all that information, which you really gave a really full account.
Okay, so we asked, do you have any worries about going back to school? And from what you said, 23%, so that's about 92 of you, actually said that they were very confident about going back to school. They're really looking forward to it. About 32%, so that's about 128 young people, said that they were confident about going back to school. 20% said that they were not worried or confident, so that's about 80 young people said that. And 20% said that they were worried, and 5% said that they were very worried about going back to school. So that's about 20 of you.
So we asked you if you could tell us a bit more about why you were or were not worried about going back to school. And we've got some quotes from different children about different things that you were feeling around going back to school. One of the things that came out of the information was you're really, really looking forward to seeing your friends. There were lots and lots of answers about being excited, not just to see your friends, but also play with your friends again. So someone said, I'm very excited to go back to school and see all of my friends. Some of you were a bit worried about catching coronavirus. Not necessarily just for yourselves, but also being worried to give it to your family as well. But a lot of you were saying that you were really excited and you couldn't wait to go back to school. You were excited to see your teachers and your friends, and that going to school really gives you a routine and a structure. You found school really fun. You weren't worried because there was lots and lots of space in school. And you were feeling that school actually was a place where you felt really safe and really secure. And you felt really ready to go back to school. You felt like you had lots and lots of information about how to keep yourself safe. So you were feeling positive about going back to school. Some children were worried about social distancing and maybe having to keep apart from their friends and their teachers. One of you said, too many kids will be back in school, and what if they don't social distance? I don't want to go back. And some of you were worried that school wouldn't be quite the same as it was before lockdown. And one of you said that school will be different. I won't be able to play with my friends and I'll have too much work to do.
Okay, so we asked you, how are you feeling about going back to school? And 39%, so that's about 152 young people, said that they were very happy about going back to school. That's quite a lot of you, actually. And then, about 26% said that they were happy. That's about 104 people said they were happy about going back to school. 30% said they were okay about going back to school, but that's about 120 of you said that. Now, 4% said that they were unhappy. So again, that's about 16 young people said that they were unhappy about going back to school. And 1% said that they were very unhappy about going back to school. So that's about 4 young people that they were really unhappy about going back.
We asked, what were you not looking forward to when you go back to school? And these were some of the things that you told us. So some young people said that they're not really looking forward to learning, particularly the amount of work that will come and that you may have to do. New experiences, so possibly getting lost on your first day if it's your new first day. For those of you in year 6, going to secondary school, not knowing anyone or not have met any of my new teachers or school. loss of home routine. So changes to what you're used to already. A lot of you may have spent quite a lot of time at home during this period and got used to having new routines and feeling a little, not looking forward to losing that. So I'm not looking forward to having to wake up early to start the day and having a strict routine. Some of you are not looking forward to leaving your parents, and some mentioned that you're not looking forward to having school dinners again. And also coronavirus worries. So worries that the virus might come back, that the pandemic might come back, and that there may be some changes going forward. Some of you spoke about the things that you are looking forward to. One of the biggest things that came up was about seeing your friends again. There were a lot of you mentioned, I'm looking forward to spending time with all of my friends. And some of you mentioned that you're actually looking forward to learning in school. So being taught by your teachers again, not being taught by your parents, and learning in a classroom setting. And lastly, getting to know new experiences. So some people mentioned looking forward to a fresh start and meeting new friends. And also those going to a whole new school in general, whether it's a new primary school or if you're in year 6, moving on to secondary school. You also mentioned that you're quite looking forward to going back to routine, having structure in the day at school, learning, and going back to normality. And finally, seeing your teachers as well. So as well as looking forward to seeing your friends, many of you said that you're looking forward to seeing your teachers, seeing old teacher and meeting your new one.
We also asked you what you think would help for you to go back to school, and you had some really fantastic ideas. These are some of the topics that came up. So being able to see your friends and be with your whole class so that you can play with each other and learn together as well. You thought that it would be really important to have help from teachers with your learning, and maybe even some catch-up time, so maybe some extra lessons or some extra sessions so that you can learn all the things maybe you didn't get a chance to during lockdown. Some of you had the idea that it might be helpful to change the day a little bit, so maybe not having to go back all day, or maybe not having to go back every day, or maybe that classes finish at different times so that you're not all going out the doors at the same time, and that would help everybody to keep safely apart from each other. And lastly, just making sure that the school is safe from coronavirus. So making sure the toilets are clean, making sure that everyone washes their hands and being reminded to do that, making sure that people do keep safely apart. And some of you thought that it would be important to wear masks as well. We also saw lots and lots of other lovely ideas, and we wanted to share them with you because from your answers, you really thought about what would be helpful. And it's really useful sometimes to hear each other's ideas and see if there's something that you would find helpful for yourself. So some children thought that starting school later in the morning could be helpful, or maybe getting a chance to be with your old teacher before meeting your new teacher, so it's not quite as new and strange for you. Helping to motivate children to keep their distance from each other, and maybe reminding them to do that as well. Being serious about the new rules, so making sure that everybody understands them and making sure that everyone follows the new rules to keep us safe. Lots of you said knowing what to expect, so being told how school is going to be like, you'd find that really helpful. And someone said being patient if I've forgotten anything, so whether it's the new rules to keep us safe or maybe some of our learning, just having kind and patient people around us and being kind to each other, you thought would be really helpful. Some of you really thought that fun activities would be a good idea and not too much work, especially at the start. One of you suggested a welcome back present, and I can totally understand why that might seem like a really lovely idea to make us feel excited about going back to school. Being able to play with your friends, because that's really important. It's how you learn and how you build your relationships as well. Reminding you to wash your hands and keep clean. And teachers just helping you to not get worried, so reassuring you and helping you to feel that everything is okay. One of you, one of the slightly younger people that filled out the survey, wished that their doll could come to school with them, because sometimes we can feel better when we've got something familiar with us coming to school. Linked to knowing what to expect, some of you suggested having a video so you know what school will be like, so you can almost see it in your mind before you go down. And one of you suggested having help from school to reconnect with your friends, to make those friendships again, and also help with your learning that you didn't do during lockdown. So you came up with some really, really lovely ideas, and your teachers will see these ideas and see if they can help you with them when you go back to school.
So now we're going to talk about what we're as a team going to do next. That's all us educational psychologists. So one of the big things that we want to do, we're going to be making a report that will go out to all of the schools, and that will just outline a lot of what you've said and some of the things that you're maybe a bit worried about, some of the things you're looking forward to, and the kind of help that you feel you would like when you go back to school. That's one of the big ones that we're going to do. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to send out a lot of sort of resources and like packages and things, activities that teachers could do with you to help you sort of move back into school and manage sort of going back to school again. So we're going to make a little pack of some sort of fun things that you can do as a class or as a small group, so that you can really feel comfortable and feel safe when you go back into school. And hopefully that will make it a bit easier for when you go back in September.
We also have a couple of suggestions of things that might help you, for things you can do between now and when you start back at school. So one of the things that may be helpful is if you have any worries or any concerns, or even things that you're looking forward to, is to talk to a trusted adult. That might be a parent, an older sibling, or an uncle, aunt. And also for those of you who haven't really been out as much during this time, or even if you have, it can be helpful to practice going out. So perhaps that walk to school, practice the early morning walk to school, and also the way back as well.
You can also help yourself be ready. If you've been at home during lockdown, you might not quite be used to getting up so early in the morning, or maybe going to bed at night time. So it's really helpful if you can try and get back into a routine. Try and make sure that you get enough sleep, because that makes us feel really good and feel ready for our learning and ready to be around other people. You might even want to find your school bag if it's got put somewhere, maybe in the corner, and you haven't used it for a while. Maybe you want to get your school bag ready and everything that you'll need. So just getting yourself back into that routine, so that when it comes to that first day of school, you're feeling awake with everything that you need for the day.
So we'd like to thank you so much for participating in the survey, for all the things that you've shared with us, and we want to send you our very best wishes for the start of term, and we hope that you will have a good start, and we hope that even though it'll probably be a little bit up and down when we start back, we hope that you'll be welcomed back by your school, and that you'll be pleased to be back, and we send you our best wishes. Thank you very much also for coming and listening to the feedback from the survey. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.